Yeah, my mic's not even on. I'm talking to nobody. Is your mic on? Look, is your mic on?
Maybe.
I think so.
This says off.
Go dang these hoes. Hello.
So.
Oh, mercy.
Basically, that needs to say on.
Yes. There we go. Hey,
Yeah.
everybody. Please ignore, because I'm not going to edit it anyway. You are tuned in to an extra special Free Map podcast.
Dramatic pause.
I, the man with the horseshoe mustache, with a gimpy hand.
Full of horse shit.
Horse shit. Yeah, I'm partially dilapidated here. But returning with a good attitude, folks. The man on my constitutional left, and we're going to try it this way. I got a hold of my gimpy hand here. And there he is. That man is General Patrick Flynn. Ladies and gentlemen, General Patrick Flynn.
Hey, people.
All right, folks. As always, bringing libertarian economics, social commentary, put it in a blender with BBs and some magnesium for really terribly made firework for a kid to blow his fingers off with. Just,
Sounded like a bad protein shake to me.
well, this is you can trust me. I'm a fireworks expert. Folks, I will start us off with little words of encouragement. I feel like a lot of people are quick to, be bunch of bitch ass punks about little things in their life, like getting your fingers mangled and getting bones split open at work and things like that. Because I met somebody who worked at the library. I'm not going to say which one, but the girl had a nub instead of a hand, and she had the biggest smile, and she treated me, knowing I looked rough and coming out of the back 40. She treated me really well, and I tell people, I said, that makes you the bitch ass punk if you're that kind of person. Like, well, I got dyslexia, I got a busted arm, and then you meet somebody who's kicking ass, who's missing a fucking arm, and your bitch ass punk is freaking crying about, I got a busted arm. Just stop. Just shut up and get on with your life. Things like, I meet so many other people that are kicking ass wholesale, and we got people like, I got Asperger's. I won't act normal because I got Asperger's, and stupid shit like that. And I'm just like, I meet people that are kicking ass that don't make excuses, and they're like, just no fucks given. So just shut up. Let's get on with our lives. Just like we're going to get on with the show. All right.
It's gonna be one of those episodes. One of those episodes, isn't it?
Fucking segues. Angry. We love it. Segues. I live for it. Now, see, one of the complaints from people is about authenticity, and you're like, that's not very authentic. You just got angry and screaming at the camera. Yeah, I was just screaming at the camera. I'm trying to be entertaining.
But
people.
You're authentically, entertainingly angry.
You're
not Robert Frank entertaining angry, but
I'm not Bill Burr, funny. But the thing is, am I entertaining in real life? Sure, I try to be. But the whole thing is, I just don't believe you should be a bitch ass punk. And I tell people that. Like, there's so many other people that are kicking ass with a lot less, and it's just, maybe you should shut up.
Maybe.
Just like I'm going to shut up and get on with the article.
Are you? This is the third attempt.
All right. From the libertarianrepublic.com. Ron Paul. We don't need Trump's wall to stop illegal immigration. I'm not a singer.
Thank God.
We'll look at the lowlights here. This morning on Ron Paul discussed the current government shutdown. Oh, God, that's awesome. That's awesome typing. It's like, I can have cheeseburger, comma. All right. I think they meant, this morning on, I guess it was CNBC's Squawk Box. They said Ron Paul discussed the current government shutdown situation. And how he disagrees with President Trump's idea that a massive border wall could halt illegal immigration. Because I'm really bad at reading here. Wear my glasses this time. And this is in quotations. I don't like walls, Paul added. I don't want to wall people in and wall people out. I kind of like that. But I don't want free open borders either. I think you have to remove the incentives for people to come, and they come because there's a welfare system here. Easy access to citizenship, it's politicized. One group wants them because they think they can get the votes. But people should be able to come and visit and work. But you have to get rid of the incentive system. Obviously, he goes, I'm going to paraphrase in here. He talks about not getting an easy road to citizenship. They talk about various things like not having easy access to a welfare system. And yes, I've actually seen other countries that allow foreign workers in when they need them. And one of the things is only citizens get access to welfare benefits. Then it's the sink or swim rule.
Yeah, and I think honestly the welfare aspect of it or that whole part of it is what's missing in the mainstream argument. You know what I mean? You don't hear that part, and that's the important piece, because that would basically almost like a deterrent, really. Because you can't, in my opinion, I'm not for the wall because you can't make it long enough, you can't make it tall enough. If people are in a bad situation and you are in a geographic location where everything is better, especially if you're a parent, you got kids, what are you going to do? You are going to try anything and everything to make a better life for your kids. No matter what you got to do, you're going to do it. I mean, you're a parent. Am I wrong about that?
Look, if I lived in an area that was more or less a war-torn area, and somebody said, okay, we're going to let your kids go to school, and I'm going to give you a chance to drive a Mercedes-Benz and live in a $200,000 house, but you go throat fuck somebody. I'm dead serious. People would I'd probably be sign me up.
Yeah.
I'm sick of being stabbed, so I won't get stabbed. My family is taken care of, and I could, all I do is throat fuck somebody. Yeah, sure. And healthcare's cheap.
Yeah.
$200,000 a year, sure. Just
mouthwash is cheap, right?
But it's bad that I'm joking, but I know a lot of people feel that way. I'm one of the few people who would admit it. It's just look, if your life was that bad, would you do that for your kids? I'm like, yeah. Don't fucking grandstand. No, I'll keep fighting. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, less than 200 years ago, my chicken shit family came to the United States because their pussy asses couldn't make it, and it's actually a failed state. You might know that as the modern country of Germany, but it wasn't even, I don't even think it was part of Germany in the late 1860s. It was in turmoil. Europe was in turmoil. But our chicken shit people came to the United States, and it's funny, they did okay. Mm-hmm. Some of them have done really well. I have a distant relative who was a politician in Missouri.
Huh.
Yeah, and he's got a beard too. He's actually hardcore. I like the guy. He's got a beard. He's on his way. Nick, my brother.
But yeah, I just think that as long as they've got incentives to come over, they will.
Well, look at this. It says, when you look at social media lately, libertarians seem torn on the issue of open versus closed borders. We did a poll, albeit non-scientific, on our Like a Libertarian page. Oh, the results. Oh, that's great. The.
Now that might have been
somebody from the Libertarian Republic.
That might have been me when I repasted that.
I'll call you Rerun. You're not even General Flynn. You're rerun.
Rerun or re-re?
Pepe. Re. I'm triggered. Back to the Triggered Chauncey podcast. No, says the results were surprising. Only 30%. Oh, yeah, that's really nice. Hold that note. Fans voted in favor of open borders, and 70% voted closed. Some comments on the thread below the poll stated that closed and open borders are not a black and white issue. Although shocking to some university students, triggered, Democrats supported more secure borders when they were in power. Also, I wanted to state that even though we lack any modicum of evidence, we have found out that General Patrick Flynn, by the way of his some of his spicy Latin family members, secretly pines for Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
What? Although she I mean, as far as Congress people go, she is odd.
I heard you over the phone the other day. You're just like calling her, and you're like, I just want to love you. You're like, she's like, who is this? I'm like, Lexi. Just call her Lexi. Lexi, please. We were meant to be together. I've got Latin family members. You sound white, but I have Latin family members. Please, just let me drink a cup of your piss.
What the hell, dude?
I'd do anything. Lexi, anything.
You're a little bit off base on that one.
What? It also said in here that you left a long-winded voicemail. It left comments just like it said, I drink a cup of your pee, and then it's like you had this whimpering sound, and then you said, I'd even convert to socialism. Proof. Is this true? No, the article says we have no proof.
Vodka is bad for my system.
Alcohol's a hell of a drug.
That sounds like something that would happen after I drink vodka.
Rick James says, I don't remember none of this shit. Anyway, back to the story. It says, I think that a story actually from rawstory.com went over the same info, added some thoughts from Ron Paul mentioning that every time you think about the fence, think about the fences being used against us, keeping us in. I've actually said this. The process to leave
should be easy.
And yes, I've actually brought that up, that it's not super difficult to get into Mexico to visit and to get a job or to buy property. It's a little more difficult.
Property, yeah.
But this is something that I'll tell you that when I've known people, and I think Tina Turner might have actually gone through with it.
Tina Turner?
Yes.
Tina Turner. Okay.
Auntie Entity. She married a Swiss businessman. She obviously, this gentleman has a decent lawyer, but she more or less had to fight to get, through the legal system to get Swiss citizenship. And then yes, she had to work towards it, by the way. But the whole thing is that I guarantee you she had tax people climbing and calling her. I've known people who've actually left the country and got nasty grams from IRS people.
So would that be a new different definition of Swiss chocolate?
Sure. Sad thing, I like Tina Turner. She honestly just wanted to be left alone, and I was like,
I like Angela Bassett, who played Tina Turner.
Stella got a groove back.
I still think side note, big nerd moment, I still think Angela Bassett, if they had done an X-Men movie in the 90s, Angela Bassett should be Storm.
Okay, I'll give it to you.
Done. Okay, I'm not going to get off
I have no funny comment
on my nerdness. Because,
why not?
Because no. I could
not?
go on for hours on that shit.
Why not?
See, now you're just being a dick.
Brought to you by Blue Light Special. Accidentally blinded
See,
somebody
this is
there.
what happened last week.
I know they just keep screwing up the video. Like, everybody's wincing. Like, are you serious? Oh, Lord.
If you haven't figured it out, folks, we are easily amused.
Judas Priest. Painkiller. I'm your turbo lover. There is no other.
The cheesiest 80s song you got to listen to every now and then, though.
I mean, if you like synthesizers, folks,
You still got to do it.
Dun, 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 dun,
You
dun,
just
dun,
got
dun,
to do it. At least once.
Oh, Lord.
Next article.
Hard segue. Atlas Brewworks beer is about to go bad thanks to the shutdown. That's a lot of alliteration. The bureaucracy beleaguered beer makers are suing the feds. Ah, you assholes. Brian Doherty, you're an ass. I put enough alliteration in the thing that I make all the girls come to the yard with my alliteration. Oh, shit. My linguistic skills.
Jesus.
Lick-a-lot-of-puss.
Steven Tyler's dinosaur name.
Lesbian dinosaur? You mean the lick-a-lot-of-puss? Anyway, Atlas Brewworks, based in Washington, D.C., wants to sell 40 kegs of its The Precious One craft beer.
I love the name.
While it is still fresh, some of them across state lines. The federal government, in a policy that should always have been constitutionally questionable, insists it must pre-approve any beer label that enters interstate commerce under the Certificate of Label Approval, COLA, which is cost of living adjustment for military people, COLA.
And government contractors.
Eat shit. The government can't do anything right. Rule contained in the Federal Alcohol Administration Act. And we're gonna rabbit hole one day with that one. I'm gonna tell you why. Thanks to the ongoing federal government shutdown, which just ended short time ago, the Treasury Department's alcohol and tobacco
What's
tobacco
tabax?
tax.
Tell me what tabax
I'm actually pretty
is.
good. I'm actually pretty damn good at that. It's like doublespeak, Orwellian doublespeak, tobacco tax. And Trade Bureau, which is the TTB. That's an important thing. Please, I'm gonna go further into what TTB is one of these days. Is not processing or issuing such approvals. Atlas applied for approval for the keg labels for its apricot-infused seasonal IPA, which sounds dope.
Well, the apricot does, the IPA don't. Homie don't like IPA.
On December 20th, but 2 days later, before the TTB took action, its funding ran out and it ceased issuing approvals or COLAs. C-O-L-A, cola. You know, la la la, Lola. I hate that song.
Put the lime in the cola.
No.
You
You like she walks like a woman and looks like a man. It's like something.
the fuck?
My Lola.
Walks
song
like a
from the
woman and
70s.
looks like a man.
Lola. You remember that? La 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 Lola.
No.
It's basically about a cross-dressing guy, and this guy's just like thought she was a woman.
Huh.
Atlas TTB had already approved the label for the cans, but not yet for the kegs. Not being able to sell those kegs will cost the brewery at least $5,000. Nice. Because beer is perishable, by the way.
Good beer, especially.
And it keeps costing them more and more, and they don't sell it. Let me see. Atlas Brewworks Company is suing in U.S. District Court in D.C., District of Columbia, which is a non-state, seeking a temporary restraining order against the government, enforcing the COLA rule against it. All right, as the motion, the restraining order argues, Americans' fundamental right to free speech requires no congressional authorization. The government can shut down free speech regulators. It cannot shut down the First Amendment. Its beer labels are a form of expression protected by the First Amendment, it insists. In cites cases, Atlas, in the case of Atlas Brew Works v. Whitaker, several separate complaints in the document. Filings from civil rights lawyer Alengura, who has, that didn't feel good, has succeeded in winning various prominent First and Second Amendment cases, says it should be obvious that the government cannot simply prohibit beer labels as a category of speech. Atlas and its customers are suffering irreparable harm in that the government violates their First Amendment rights every moment the Atlas is not free to label its products. The government cannot require Atlas to obtain a license in order to speak. A license aggressively reviewed for content under rules mandating some statements and forbidding others, and then shutter the licensing office indefinitely. Atlas obviously argues should thus be able to sell its labeled beer without running the risk of misdemeanor prosecution. Well, I think it was actually said earlier in the month how
that time of month?
No, in Reason, in the Reason magazine. That's nice.
You finally got it. Delayed reaction.
Earlier in the month said, I think it was the vital process of getting fine beers to a thirsty public. It was halted unnecessarily by the ultimately unnecessary policy. And that was another article. But some little takeaways, folks. And for every time somebody says there ought to be a law, I actually say there shouldn't be.
Agreed.
And
there are too many laws.
We're honestly, I'm actually going to quote Victor Pride, who is not a libertarian. He's an uber man of his own. And he said, when you give the power of decision and when you give responsibility for decisions to another man or another entity and you're not doing it yourself, you're not going to get the results you want. And he even said that. He said, part of your problem is you think somebody else can do it. If you screw up, you're probably doing it. That's the best result you're going to get. Like feeding people. Don't depend on some asshole who doesn't know you to feel bad for you to send you an EBT card to feed your family. Like, oh, that's heartless. Of course it is. But I'm going to tell you, you basically asked a stranger to feed you, and then you're bitching about it. All right? Plus, for everybody that thought it was the mamby-pamby idea like the beer thing, motherfuckers, you're the one drinking the beer. Know what you're putting in your fucking mouth. Find a label. I mean, the labels. Come on. Judas Priest, people. I mean, there's so many things you could be doing for yourself in your own damn life. Don't depend on these people to live your life. All right. Hey, did you have any input there?
Input on
anything.
Well, one thing you did mention was about making less laws, which do you remember when Trump was doing all the campaign stuff, and he said one of the things he wanted to do, that for every law that they tried to pass, they had to take 2 laws off the books. Mm-hmm. That was actually one of the things that I liked from Trump, and you never hear anything about it.
I heard something about it, and they were talking about the CFRs, Code of Federal Regulation, mm-hmm. and they talked about trying to clean up some of the volumes. Because it never, I mean, you always create more, and it's very impossible to eat away at it. But they did talk about, I guess the growth was less than it had been for other like administrations.
Yeah, but still, I mean,
it's an animal.
I don't want to lessen the growth. I want to starve that bitch. You know what I mean?
A scratching sound.
Yeah, I don't want to lessen the growth. I want to stagnate it. I mean, I'm one of those crazy people that even though I do work for the government, I was happy about the shutdown, because if the government is shut down and not working, that means they can't do stuff that interferes with us. The more complicated, the more stuff they're doing, the more things they're passing, the more complicated our lives get.
I think people and anybody anywhere close to a libertarian mindset needed to think when the government shut down. Like, well, why doesn't somebody do something? I said, it's your opportunity to do it. Like, there's trash in the National Mall.
There's unintended...
Volunteer and go get your lazy asses for New Year's resolutions. Go pick some fucking trash up.
There's, the government is doing so much stuff. There's an unintended consequence of the government doing stuff. Because I feel like, to use charity as an example, people always say, why don't you donate more to charity? It's because the government takes so much money from you. You feel like, well, they take enough. It's covered. Nobody is accountable, is close enough to look at the problem and say, hey, I need to fix this myself.
It's actually very deceptive that it's not only like it's not a greedy feeling, but it's a deceptive thing that we see these programs and we feel like they're covered, and it's not out of greed that we don't want to help charity. It's that we've superseded charity and we put it in a national level instead of at a local level. And it's not very effective.
And the way the government does it, it makes it mandatory because it's taken out of your paycheck somewhere. So it's not even really charity in my book. It's just theft disguised as charity.
It's mandatory fun.
Yeah,
You will have fun. You will enjoy it.
Yeah, basically. And that is my stopping point.
Well, folks, we're going to close out with, we'll call it a inspirational moment. Maybe I wasn't actually kidding about, bitching about having, a busted ass hand, or those people that, made up problems, or, like, oh, I've got anxiety, you can't do this. And I meet people that just fucking do. Like I say, do and be. Do, be.
Done. Mic drop. Just do and be.
Flip. And the thing is, I said, obviously I want to close with, first, I do care about people. I care about you. I care about you random people. I'm like a horseshoe mustache Chuck Barris. I love you very much. And no, I never run around the world killing people. That's not me. But I do wish the best for you. I want you to live wholesome lives. I want you to do things in your life for yourself. And when you do those things and you interact with other people and you put a positive attitude towards things and you take charge of your lives will be more, not fulfilled, but they'll be healthy and thick.
Thick.
The lives, purposeful.
Purposeful is a better word than thick, my friend.
Thick, like THICC, like thick, like smacking my hand goes.
Well, okay. You get me on a rant here. There is a fine line, an important line between thick and fat. Ladies, if you're fat, say you're fat. Don't call it thick, because that's wrong. That's wrong to the people that are properly thick.
Well, we're not going to... Well, some other time we're going to get into what a hip-to-waist ratio of 0.9 or less.
Fat versus thick.
We won't even get into that. So, anyway, folks, love one another. Love yourselves. Keep on doing it. We will see you next time.
See ya.
Oh, yeah.